Oh, yo. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning from the Lionheart Yukon.
Yep.
We're on the road. Tay in the back.
Yep.
Good morning, Tay. How are we feeling?
Feeling good.
Feeling good this morning?
Yes.
Jeremiah, how are you doing?
I'm a little tired.
Jeremiah's a little tired. He just got done telling us he hasn't been to the gym in 4 days. Man, he misses those weights. If you don't know, Jeremiah's been getting big. He's been hitting the gym like,
Swole.
4 hours a day. We're on our way to Three Rivers, Michigan right now, but we're swinging through Starbucks first. I feel emotional this morning.
Why?
Well, so those of you who really know me at all know that I'm a family man, right?
Right.
Been married for almost 10 years. My wife, Heather, and I, we have 3 kids, and I care a lot that my kids feel part of what their dad does for a living. So just to kind of set the stage, this morning I dropped off Eli, my son, at school. He's 6, and he had saw me hooking up the Lionheart trailer, and he said, "Dad, I want to go. I want to go on the Lionheart tour." And I'm gonna have a salted caramel cold brew. You too? Tay?
You want one? It's sugary.
He's not gonna like the salted caramel cold brew. He's gonna want an apple juice or a hot chocolate. What's it gonna be, Tay?
Apple juice.
Apple juice.
I would like a worm drink, but I don't know.
We're still just a little bit of a break here. We're trying to break in Tay into the Starbucks world.
Yeah.
He keeps ordering apple juice, which is not
Something mocha cinnamon?
it's not particularly a Starbucks specialty.
Hey, man, we have 2
Um,
salted caramel cold brews.
Jeremiah and I are
Grandes.
grande.
One.
But we're still breaking in Tay.
Whatever I can get.
The drive-through person said, "Do you want a juice box?
Okay.
You want a juice box for a grown man?"
have those, so it's up to you. The smallest the apple juice cup is a 12-ounce cup, or we can do I think the juice box is like ounces.
Dang.
Let's do the 12 ounce.
Okay, I got you.
Thank you.
Hang with us, guys.
All right, anything else?
That'll be all.
All right, we got you. 1405.
1405, 2 salted caramel cold brews and a juice box. All right, so anyway, I want to get back to my story. I'm dropping off Tay at I'm not dropping off Tay. No, Tay's in here. I'm dropping off my son, my other son. I'm dropping off my son Eli, 6 years old, and he's like, "Dad, I want to go." And I told him, I said, "Eli," because we were talking before bed, and I said, "Do you want to come on the Lionheart tour?" And he said that he wanted to stay home, and he wanted to stay back for this one. I said, "Okay." So I'm dropping him off at school, and now he's crying. He's crying, and he's very, very upset. Like, he's like moving away from the door, and I'm just kind of down on his level, and he's like crying a lot because he really wants to go. But I also really need my son to understand that yes means yes and no means no. It is a big one. And I know that I know that he was having a really hard time with that, but last night he said, no, I'm going to stay back. And now we're at school, and he's saying, I want to go. So this morning I feel parent guilt. And it's a very specific type of guilt for parents, because I said, Eli, you need to walk into school, and I'm going to see you tonight, when we get home. And I feel guilty, because I'm like, should I have gone back in? Should I have said, hey, hop in the car with Dad, we're going on the Lionheart tour? Did I make a good choice telling him that he needs to be in school? So I feel weighted this morning. I feel weighted. I feel emotional, because I'm like, did I make a good call with my kids?
Is the parent guilt coming from a spot like, do it make you feel like a bad dad?
Right. Yeah, like I'm like, did I make a bad dad decision?
Like you should go back on your words or something?
Yeah, like should I have gone back into that school and grabbed my son and brought him on tour for the day? I mean, we're just going for the day. I'm going to come back tonight. But anyway, I don't know. I am so intentional about the time that I spend away, and I'm intentional about the time that I'm present with my family.
Right.
Because believe it or not, when I was a teacher, even though I didn't travel like I do now, I actually was more absent from my family being a teacher, because I would be gone before they woke up, and I would never be able to pick up my kids from school. And also, the best of my emotional energy was given to my classroom. We're in the drive-thru, Starbucks.
For the apple juice, that'd be cool.
We're getting a straw for Tay's apple juice.
No, we're good. Cool. Thank you so much.
Oh, man. All right. Perfect. Thank you. Go, Tay. I'm going to grab your apple juice there. Perfect. So I know that, so we're getting on the road here. Got Jeremiah's salted caramel cold brew. Cheers, man. It's going to be a great day. Jeremiah, if you do want to say anything, feel free to grab the mic. But I'm very intentional about both what my absence looks like and what my presence looks like with my family, and involving my kids in what I do. A lot of times, Eli and Selah, or sometimes Amelie and Heather, like, they'll be with us. We'll be at a school. Eli will be out there dancing. Selah will be sitting in the front row. It matters to me very much that my kids feel connected to what their dad is doing.
Right. Do you see Heather go through parent guilt?
Well, I think that every parent goes through parent guilt. It's just there's not really a great place to talk about it, right? So, because I'm even thinking right now that maybe there's people who might be watching this who want to comment what I should have done as a parent, because everyone wants to express their opinion, and so there's not really a great place to talk about what you feel guilty as a parent, because of the onslaught of judgment that you will receive from the world.
Might get canceled.
You might get canceled, yeah. And so there's not really a great place for parents to talk about feeling guilty, because everyone can parent better than you can parent. Yep. I even think about that as even as like a young single person. I thought I would have parenting totally figured out, but the truth is you don't really have any idea about anything until you actually are holding and looking at a person that came from you. It changes the whole world. But anyway, Jeremiah and I like to collect our hotel keys. of places that we go because it reminds me of the places that we've been and the great memories that we have there. And but as cool as my hotel key collection is, every time I look at it, I think to myself, these are nights and these are days that are away from my family. So it better be worth it.
Right.
Better be worth it. These hotel keys represent days that are away from my kids, away from my family. And I'm lucky that my wife Heather and I were actually a really great team with this kind of, like push and pull. I'm going to be gone tonight, or I'm going to be gone the next 2 nights. I'm going to be back for the week. And Heather, she gets to travel too for her work. And so we have a really great balance there. But the parent guilt is real. I feel it weighing on me this morning. Like, should my son be in the back seat right now? Should I have said, hey man, come with dad on tour today? I told him that we have a performance on Friday and I'd really like for him to come. But kids, their sense of time is hard for them to feel time, I can feel Friday coming.
Right.
But Eli is just learning what the days of the week are in general. So he doesn't know that that's 4 days away. He just knows that he can't come today. And that's tough. So this morning, I feel weighted with some parent guilt because it was a really tough drop-off at school today for Eli and for myself. It was tough having him walk in and be so upset. Yeah.
I think it was good though. I think it was good because you asked him the night before and he said no. So him not going is kind of teaching him a lesson. I remember a couple times me as a kid wanting my parents to feel parent guilt.
Oof.
Like wishing they would feel some parent guilt. Just feeling like me being a kid, probably not knowing nothing, like you said, but just feeling like their judgment was off or something, or they made the wrong call. I should have been able to go. I should have been able to do this. Shouldn't be on punishment, whatever. Want them to feel some type of guilt.
Yeah.
Because I can't want them to feel anything else.
I know.
Can't do nothing.
Yeah, it's interesting because you were conscious enough to be like, I'm going to apply parent guilt.
Right.
But honestly, man, I do think that whether a parent admits it or not, we are all afraid that we're screwing up our kids. And so whether it's Tay applying parent guilt to his parents or parents kind of just suffering in silence, I guess, because where else are you going to talk about wondering if you're making the right decisions with your kids without feeling like you're going to be judged by the world? I don't know. This is interesting. Have you guys ever heard of Confucius, Chinese philosopher?
No.
Confucius says, kind of like a fortune cookie type thing. Well, Confucius was a Chinese philosopher, lived a really, really long time ago, but he had ideas of how to run a government, run society, run a country, and this is so interesting. But the way that he believed, and I am not in line with Confucius here, I just want to make that very known. The way that Confucius believed that he needed to show dedication to his family was by leaving his family and finding a way to implement the ideas that he believed in. And so he left his family, he left his wife, he left his kids, And he believed that that was his way of showing them dedication. That if I don't show my kids this resolve and belief in something, then I'm not really showing them dedication. Isn't that? I remember learning that. It was in Chinese philosophy class, and I remember thinking to myself, like, whoa, that, no, beep, beep. We had a car in front of us. They were on their phone. Can we give a round of applause to Jeremiah for being a great driver? Yes, you're the man. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's a little backwards.
It was a little bit backwards, but it did make me think as a parent, like, okay, well, what does it look like to be dedicated to your family? And what does it look like to have a belief in something? I really believe in the work that we do in schools and helping kids and teachers and parents and school leaders feel a sense of worth. I believe in it, but I don't want the belief in it to ever hurt the connection that I have with my family.
Right.
Which is why I care so much about bringing them into what I do.
I wonder, did Confucius have parent guilt?
I know. Did he have parent guilt? The last thing that I'll share for this segment here, because I do have some lighter things that I'd love to be able to talk about with you guys, but every night before bed, or while I'm like laying next to Eli, tucking him in, I do the same thing with Selah, and I do the same thing with Amelie, even though her, as a 2-year-old, her vocabulary and ability to express herself is limited. I ask my kids every day how their heart is feeling, what's going on inside their heart. So, I will ask Eli, hey, how was your relationship with Selah today? How was your relationship with Mom today? And he'll share, what his relationship felt like. And then I will ask him, how was your relationship with this guy? And I'll pat Eli on the back, or I'll pat him on the head, because I really need Eli to grow up and understand that the relationship that he has with himself is the most important, pivotal, transformational, deep relationship that he's ever going to have, this relationship he has with himself. And so I'll ask him, pat him on the head, how was your relationship with this guy today? Were you proud of this guy? And then I'll ask him, is there anything that made you angry today? Is there anything that made you upset today? Is there anything that made you feel joyful today or excited? Because I just want him to be aware of what's happening inside of his heart. But one of the things that I always ask is there anything that disappointed you today? Because disappointment is one of those things that it will get inside of, when it's in your heart, if you don't process disappointment, if you don't process it, it can become something else.
Right.
It can grow into something else. And so I will ask Eli if there's anything that disappointed him today. And so I'm sure tonight when I get back and tuck him in, we'll be able to do this. We'll be able to process his disappointment today, because I do believe that part of the way that I show dedication to my family is not that I will never disappoint my son, but I will help him process his disappointment. So my therapist, he would say, listen, disappointment is part of life, isn't it? Right. You're going to be disappointed. And the idea of disappointing people makes me so afraid. I have a interesting connection with just the idea of disappointment, the word disappointment. So, yeah, I'll be able to sit with my son tonight, and I'll help him process the disappointment of the day as his dad. and the best days will be ahead of us.
That's good. And Friday he'll be here. So
And Friday he's coming.
it's even better.
Friday he's coming. So
Oh, Eli.
anything weighing on you today, Tay?
I feel good today.
Feel good. That's good.
I feel all right.
Jeremiah, has anything been weighing on you today? You want the mic?
I think I'm okay at the moment.
All right, good. It's just Mr. V feeling emotional this morning. Happy to be here though. Happy to be on the road. Our first podcast that we have recorded in the car.
Right.
I told Jeremiah, I was like, Jeremiah, you don't have to drive and record the podcast, but he's in this thing. This is why Jeremiah is Jeremiah. So, what's the word today, Jeremiah?
The word of the day.
What's the word?
Man, I'm still trying to wake up to be.
All right, he said he's still trying to wake up, still trying to be 100. The best days are ahead. That's going to be our phrase for the day. Come on, man. The best days are ahead, Tay. Happy to be here.